people love to say that Disney and Pixar or whoever in all the Disney projects, they're not original. They're always like, oh, Disney doesn't make original movies anymore. Or they don't have any, they're running out of ideas. They keep on making remakes. They keep on making sequels. Welcome back to another video of Everything Movies. I am Jefferson Coe, and today I will be reviewing Freakier Friday. Before I get into the review, please drop a like and subscribe to support my channel.
Morning.
Happy wedding week. You have a lot on your plate. Let us know how we can help.
Maybe someone could help me write my wedding vows. How about this?
I, Anna, take you, Eric, a man whose daughter is a little demon thing with an obnoxious accent.
What is taking so long?
Freakier Friday is a sequel to the classic Disney movie called Freaky Friday, and it stars the same exact cast from the original movie, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, with a few new faces in this one as well. And the director of this movie is Nisha Ganatra. And I would just like to start off and say well done to the people that put this film together, and just to the idea of bringing back such a classic Disney movie in 2025 and like almost kind of redoing it but putting its own original spin to it, because there's many people that love Freaky Friday, the original one. I actually was watching the original before I watched this new movie, and I was watching it where it was a lot of people that could come by and like kind of see what I was watching. And a lot of people were like, oh, is this Freaky Friday? Or is this Freaky Friday? And they were like, oh, I love this movie. So to know that these people came together and they know that they're dealing with a very loved franchise, I think that they did what they had to do to make this movie. And I think they did a very good job. This film follows the same characters that were in the first movie, and it's just a continuation of their life, basically. And I love how the movie kind of speeds us up, because in the first movie, I'm gonna get into the plot now. In the first movie, it's about Lindsay Lohan's character and how she was a teenager, and her and her mom had mother-daughter issues. I mean, they end up switching places, switching lives, and they have to learn how to understand each other on a deeper level. And basically now in this new movie, Lindsay Lohan is now, her character Anna, her character is now a mother, and she has her own daughter and her own life and everything. So she's now, the role is kind of reversed for her. And so you get to see her navigating parenthood, and she's a single parent. You get to see her like go through the same struggles that she went with her own mom when she was a teenager. And on paper, you would think like this is a copy and paste movie, but I promise you it is really not. Like when you go into this, you're gonna be like, okay, they set it up. They just kind of reminding us what the old, like the very first scene of this movie is the exact same thing of how the first movie was. Like they both open up in similar ways, and I guess that's like a nod to our nostalgia in a way. So they kind of wanted to ease us into this new movie, but then like the movie blossoms into its own thing by the end of the film. On top of it being a sequel, it also felt like I could have watched this without even knowing what the original movie was and still enjoyed it. And that's always a good thing when you're able to watch a sequel film after something so like good like Freaky Friday. So I will, like I said, I really did like how they made the plot similar, but then added a lot of different elements. And I don't want to go too deep into it, because if I talk too much about it, it'll be in spoiler territory. But just know that they did a really good job in putting their own twist on the movie. So if you hear online that it was a copy and paste, it's really not. You just got to go see it for yourself. Now, I want to get into some other things, and this is going to be about the movie, but also about our society as a whole. Like, because I love how this movie, like I said, it was a very much a sequel, but it was also could have been a very good original movie. And people love to say that Disney and Pixar or whoever in all the Disney projects, they're not original. They're always like, oh, Disney doesn't make original movies anymore. Or they don't have any, they're running out of ideas. They keep on making remakes. They keep on making sequels. Well, where's the support whenever they do have a original movie? Where is that support? Because if we're really being honest, this movie I could tell the way that they were making it. They have the people that came together to make this. I can tell they can make a really solid original film, but they, you know, were given the project of making a Freakier Friday. And that's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with this movie. Like I said, like I really enjoyed this movie, but I feel like there was people, like I'm not even just the cast, I'm talking about anybody that worked on this movie. There was enough talent there to make an original film. But I promise you, and this is, I'm talking about the elephant in the room. I'm talking about the audience. I promise you, people would not have shown up for it if it did not have the title Freaky Friday in it. You know, so, but that's that. But you know what? I'm gonna talk about it because Disney, in my opinion, has been making really good original films. But you will often hear online of people saying that they don't make original films. At the same time, we don't support the original stuff that they do drop. Like Elio, for instance, this summer, Elio was a really good film. And I personally enjoyed it, and I really was like, it felt refreshing to see something brand new on the screen that wasn't a sequel, it wasn't a remake. No one else has made an Elio ever before. But that movie tanked in the box office because there was not many people watching it. And this is a conversation that I had with one of my friends. I'm gonna shout her out, Cozy.Kennie on Instagram, Cozykennie on Twitch is where she plays a lot of video games. Go check her out. But we were having a conversation about this movie, one, before I made this video, but also just about Disney as a whole. And I wanted to add this conversation into the video because she mentioned that before COVID, people were actually going to the movies and they were supporting original movies. But then after COVID, like movies, like really good movies like Turning Red and what's his name, Luca, and movies that got released alongside of the theatrical release. Those movies didn't do as well as movies like Inside Out or what's another good one that recently Zootopia. Inside Out, Zootopia. Like, imagine if those movies came out after COVID. I can bet money. Like, I don't know how much, but I can bet money that there would be that those movies would not be as successful now as they were in the past because of, you know, COVID changing like the culture of movies, in my opinion. Like, people got so comfortable with waiting for the streaming service and waiting for, like, people love to listen online, and they love to go and look online and be like, oh, it's not doing well in the box office, so it must not be good. And I just don't think that's true, because the moment we start comparing and analyzing art, like literal art, off of, you know, the amount of money that it makes, that's when we start to lose our compassion for movies and music and anything art related. And another good example, y'all, I'm gonna go back in history now. Another good example, because I lived it. I remember going to the theaters and thinking in my head, wow, this is a really good movie and it has really good music, but no one's in the theater watching it. I remember waiting months for other people to see this movie just so they could start having this conversation of it. And guess what movie that was? Encanto. I saw that movie when it had first dropped. It might have been the first week or maybe the second week. Anyway, I watched Elio while it was in theaters, and I'm sitting there like, wow, we don't talk about, that was a bop, you know? And everybody loved that song, right? Okay, great. But no one knew about it until TikTok, or until it came out on digital or on Disney Plus. And I'm like, where were y'all support when these people were actually trying to make their money off of the work that they had put into making this movie that y'all love so much? You know, like, and I think that's a conversation that honestly needs to be had, because, and this is something else that Cozykennie told me, but animation in the movie industry is they get done the worst because they put in so much work into their projects, and they have to put in so much time, and they have to draw and do everything just for people to not even go support it when it first released. Now, I promise you, if Encanto did not have music, that thing would not be as popular as it is today. If it did not have Lin-Manuel Miranda making that music and the music wasn't bops, TikTok would not have gotten a hold of it. It would not have gotten that TikTok treatment like it did. And I don't think Elio will ever get the TikTok treatment because it doesn't have music. So I really do think like there's a conversation that needs to be had. And this all goes back to Freakier Friday. Like, I think this movie will only do good just because it's connected to the classic. And people love to complain that Disney is not making original movies, and they can only rely on their classic movies. But I disagree. Like, I think that they can make really good, decent original movies, like Encanto, like Elio, like that's an old one, but everyone knew Soul, but I promise you, no one talked about it until it got to TikTok, until it got to the streaming. And I know that came out on streaming, so I guess that really don't count. Anyway, but there were other movies that they dropped alongside of it being on streaming service, and it just didn't do well in theaters. And it's because it was already accessible to that. And I think Disney might have shot them own selves in the foot when they did that. At the end of the day, I think people need to support animated movies. And that's my case. Thank you for sitting through my TED Talk and listening. But anyways, back to Freakier Friday. I think that movie is really, really good. And if you want to laugh, if you want to feel good, if you want to get a little emotional, because it does get a little emotional at the end, I would say go watch Freakier Friday as soon as you can. That'll be all for this video. Thank you all for watching. And if you haven't done so already, please drop that like. I will really, really appreciate that. And give me a subscribe. Don't just watch and go. Well, if you really like my content, please subscribe so then you will know when my next video is about to drop, and ring that bell. That'll be all for this video, and I will see you all next time.